News Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Yes, good morning to you. It is time for Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM, and streaming on our website at woonsocketradio.com. This is Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us. It is Thursday morning. It's October 13th in the year 2022. Bob Lauder is here. Good morning to you, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to have you here. Emily Haining-Sheehan from The Call is here. Good to have you here as well, Em.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, and before we hit Bob with a good question, let's get a first message from Em from The Call newspaper before you guys embarrass me. Now, go ahead.
Well, everybody knows that, we're already basically mid-October, and we got to start thinking about the holidays. Mm-hmm. And that means
Not Halloween.
And that means Home for the Holidays promotion is back again this year. It is actually a high-quality glossy magazine that we put out at The Call and The Times. And we are doing the stocking stuffer giveaway again this year. But we have, a great promotion here. We like to support small businesses, and it is coming out Black Friday. So it's the day before Small Business Saturday. Mm-hmm. So it's a great way to promote your small business and promote Small Business Saturday. So if you are interested, we have very affordable pricing for the packages. We also have added some more value to the packages. So if you have any questions, please give me a call at 401-767-8500.
All right, Em, thank you very much. Okay, now I blush easily. So,
did you
want to talk about the picture
this morning as I was when you picked up the paper?
Joe is on the front page of the Woonsocket Call this morning.
I was no one's more startled than me.
with Tom Gray, and can I just say?
No, that's Steve Laramie.
Oh, that is Steve.
Yes.
Oh, that is Steve.
Yeah.
Well, talking about Tom Gray.
Okay.
So I was privileged to be one of the judges on Monday for the floats of the Autumn Fest parade. And can I just say, thank you to Tom and Adam and Stephanie and Judy. And it was so much fun.
Good.
Was able to meet some really great people, and everybody, was excited for the parade, and the weather was beautiful that day. So, congratulations to all the hard work for all the people that had participated in the parade, and also Autumn Fest. I think it was amazing. I hadn't been to Autumn Fest in decades, and my husband and my son and I, we went on Saturday night, and we had a blast. I was able to reconnect with one of my oldest best friends, Mike Cavallo. So it was great. It was a lot of fun, and I think it really brought the city together.
Great. Now, just a little background on the picture, Bob.
Well, the background on the picture was, it's really great. It's front page. Yeah. It's in color. Yeah. It doesn't use the word indicted or bankrupt.
Or arrested.
So, it can't get better than this.
Well, that's so true. It was taken on Monday, late Monday in Autumn Fest, like around 5 in the afternoon. So if you're looking at it, what a bunch of slackers sitting around doing nothing. We were kind of tired by then. So it was one of the first times we had a chance to sit down. And then here comes Joe Nato. He's going to take a picture. Well, Joe takes a ton of pictures.
Yes.
The odds that he's going to use that one is so astronomical. We never thought we'd make it into the paper.
You never know, so always be camera ready.
You never know is right.
I'd love to harass you about the idea of a slacker, but anybody who works with you knows you are not a slacker.
I'm talking about the people that don't work with me. Oh, geez, he just he puts on the orange jacket, he sits around all weekend, puts his feet up. Boy, he's got it pretty easy. But it is a very nice picture.
It makes you look good, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Orange is my new color, I think.
Okay.
Well, like they say, orange is the new black.
That's right. So there you go. All right, Bob, you ready for the ready? It's not really a question. More looking for a comment from you.
Uh-oh.
Not this past Monday, the Monday before.
Right.
Okay, I'm not sure if you heard of this. Emma's probably heard of this. On Monday Night Football, the game is between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers being played in San Francisco.
Okay.
All right. Just before halftime, a fan runs onto the field.
Yep.
He is carrying a smoke stick. It's the best way to describe it. There is pink smoke coming out of this stick that he's holding. He's with some organization. He's trying to give attention to whatever he's trying to
make
promote.
a statement.
Yeah. So now the security is running after him like they always do.
They
and they can't
catch
catch up to him. Now he's starting to run down the sidelines of the LA Rams. And a player by the name of Bobby Wagner, who's in full uniform, by the way, comes out, smashes him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Lays him out. Security get him.
Right.
They take him out. There was another person too, but they caught him like in the end zone.
Yeah.
But this guy is now suing the football player for assault.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, if you ever look at tickets to sporting events, there's all sorts of small print.
A ticket to a sporting event.
There's on the back of a sporting ticket that you purchase to get in is all sorts of lawyer jargon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one of them is you can't go on the field.
Okay.
But now I understand you can sue anybody for anything. You just got to find the right lawyer to file the right paperwork. But
does he have a case?
is there any case here? Technically, yeah, it is assault. And that guy was wearing a lot more equipment than the other guy. So
and probably
outweighed
him by 100 pounds.
At least 100 pounds. And I understand that the protester, got a concussion too. Do you think that will this just be thrown out, or will the NFL settle? Thoughts on this?
I would imagine there's going to be some type of settlement because a trial is going to take a long time and it's going to involve their player, and they probably don't want to go through that kind of hassle. But I think that the player himself, seeing somebody being chased by security, holding something that is smoking, not knowing whether or not this is something dangerous, and taking the action to try and prevent what could be a very serious event, I don't think that player is going to be particularly liable for having actually stopped the man from running.
So there's no assault, really?
Well, there's two kinds of assault. There's assault, criminal assault, where you're charged by the police and you have violated laws. And then there's assault in the sense of, I punched you in the face. I didn't get arrested for doing it, but as a result of my punching you in the face, you have injuries. And consequently, you're suing me for intentionally inflicting the injuries upon you. That's probably what he's going at.
Okay.
But
because he made what's called a football move, and he didn't punch him. He basically used his body to knock him down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
he's someone who knows how to do that kind of defense. And if he sees a situation that he thinks is dangerous, and I would think under the circumstances with security chasing him and guy holding some kind of smoking object, there's a reasonable presumption that this could be something dangerous to the team or anybody, and I'm going out there and I'm going to stop it. Yeah.
And again, the person who went out there, he's going to be charged.
Well, yeah, at least with trespassing, if not anything else.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's it's kind of one of those things. If somebody is out there, they don't know what type of object he had in his hand.
Most of the time, they don't have objects, and they just run on the field and run around and be foolish. But
I think this is, kind of a special case because of everything that has happened, in the past years that, we're more apt to be concerned when we see something like that.
I would imagine part of the allegation is going to be that the player from the team was using force beyond what would be normal to try and prevent the action from taking place. You're in a bar. You see some big guy beating up a little old lady, like little old ladies are in bars. You go over
you'd be surprised.
and try to... M has a much better social life than I do. Whoa. Okay. You go over and intervene to try and pull the guy off, and in the course of doing so, you break the guy's nose. I think the issue would be, did you have to break his nose in order to pull him off the little old lady, or could you have used some less restrictive techniques to try and prevent the little old lady from being injured further? It's difficult. Let me look it up sometime. I'll have an answer for you next week.
Okay, but if you were in the moment, and if you're the player,
Right.
you're not going to think, well, maybe I should just grab him and hang on to him. They don't think that way. And usually when it happens in other sports, mostly like baseball, they not run away. They stay away from who's ever running on the field. It's
Actually,
only football players that really knock people down.
actually, I think the football player probably had a great deal of courage, because if you see somebody doing this, you're not sure what they have. Could
Who
be
knows
a
what that
bomb,
device
could
is
be
gonna do.
Any kind of thing
Yeah.
that he has, and you say, okay, I'm going to intervene. I'm going to prevent this from getting worse
Yeah.
and possibly hurting people. Yeah, that takes a lot of guts.
Makes me wonder what the San Francisco 49ers would have to do as they have a talk with their security people of how did this guy get in with this device.
Yeah, exactly. Because you do have to go through,
Yes,
detectors,
it's extensive.
before.
At Gillette Stadium, you can't bring an umbrella in.
No.
It's a weapon, or it
Yeah.
can be used as a weapon.
Yeah.
So,
And
Okay.
ironically enough, last night during the baseball playoffs at the Dodgers game, there was actually a gander that was just sitting on the field and would not fly
leave?
away. Yes.
that happens.
So
Sometimes
and
animals
it
just
was
show up.
huge.
Yeah.
It was huge. So, there's obviously, I was just trying to give a little bit of humor,
Yeah.
to this situation, but,
And Gander didn't buy a ticket either,
no, no,
That was why. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if it does get to a judge, you think they would just throw it out? There's just no way this court case is going forward. Because that's what I want to have happen. I don't want any sentiment at all. Because you want to put you don't want people doing this. And if they settle and they give
then
him
it
money,
just encourages
more of
other,
it.
yeah.
so we can't have, in my mind, we can't have a settlement of this.
Well, you settle cases a lot of the time when you make a calculation as to what is going to be the bad side for you. Is it worse to pay a nominal amount of money and get something completely out of your life? Or do you want to fight it down and pay the various costs that are involved, the lawyer fees and things like that? And then always have the uncertainty of what a jury may do. A jury may say,
Well, true.
okay, the guy's entitled to a whole lot of money, more than you'd be willing to have spent on a settlement.
Well, the NFL has a lot of money, and I'm sure they got a lot of lawyers.
Probably.
And they may just want to keep fighting this as long as they can.
Could be.
But it's the first time I've ever heard of when someone has run onto the field to decide to sue the player that knocked them down.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before.
I will do some research on this and have a better answer
And
for you
the
as
fact
president
that
next week.
nothing, and the fact that the football player, there hasn't been any charges.
No,
Against
no, he
him.
wasn't arrested or anything.
He
like
wasn't
that.
arrested. So, it's kind of, the proof
And
is
he-
right there, because obviously if the security or if the police thought that was endangerment
yeah.
or malicious or premeditated, he would have been carted off the field.
Yeah,
If it was a criminal event. But this is probably a civil event in saying I was assaulted and that I'm entitled to civil damages. I'm prosecuting
Yeah.
it for myself.
all right.
But wait a minute. Now, on the
Yeah.
umbrella thing,
Yes.
okay, if I can't take an umbrella in, does that mean I have to leave my monocle and my spats in the car too?
Wow, you are old, Bob.
Okay.
No, those are okay.
Those are okay.
And if you're
Okay.
wearing spats to a football game, you are really going to stand out.
It's called a poncho. You wear a poncho.
Yes.
Okay.
Or a raincoat. Those are okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're holding something in your hand, no.
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 Makes a whole lot of sense.
Put it over there in the pile with the others
Yes.
of people that have tried to bring them in. All right, break time here on Coffee and so M, time for a second message from the Call newspaper.
Yes.
Can we change the name to the Callahan Times or something now that I'm in the paper? Bring it up at the next meeting.
I will.
Excellent.
I
Thank you.
will. Definitely. You're welcome. But keeping kind of with the holiday theme, we are back again with the holiday gift guide
All right.
of the day. So, there's a lot of, gift ideas. Some are traditional, some are kind of thinking out of the box when you're trying to think of a loved one or, a coworker or friend to get them a gift. And the great thing about the holiday gift idea of the day is that it's going to be on the front page of the Call or the Times. So it will be down at the bottom. It will be the full strip of the bottom half of the Call or the Times. And you can advertise, gift certificates, if there's dining specials, a one-time deal that you might be having for any type of, sale that you're having, or just if you're kind of low on inventory, if it's retail that you just kind of want to, do a deal of the day and kind of get rid of, those last few items that you have, in stock that are running low. But again, it is actually going to be publishing November 15th through December 24th. So, you could do one day, you could do multiple days. So if you are interested in learning more about the holiday gift idea of the day, please give me a call at 401-767-8500.
All right, Em. Thanks. Coffee and program will continue. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Seasonal allergies got you down? The Honey Shop has a solution. Breathe. It's the all-natural cold and allergy remedy made right here in Woonsocket. Or perhaps you have sleep problems, arthritis, or some other ailment that you're looking for a natural solution. The Honey Shop is also starting classes again. So if you're looking to learn something new, stop by 1300 Park Avenue in Woonsocket near Park Square, or give them a call at 401-766-1488. The Honey Shop. Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first, and he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. M would like to sing Scott McGee's phone number.
401-639-2906.
As Dave always says, one more time.
401-639-2906.
Since Bob has got to leave a little early today, we're going to move his segment to right now. So, Bob, let's get a message from your law office, please.
Before I do that, I have to tell you, I was calling Scott McGee last week for something, And as I'm dialing the number, tapping it in, I'm hearing.
You hear her voice?
I'm hearing the voice.
That's how you remember it.
Yes. Didn't have to look it up. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to talk to you this morning about some of the elements considered by parties and the court in divorce litigation. Generally, the issues to be considered are children. Who retains custody? Who is awarded physical placement? What rights of visitation are granted to the parent with whom the children do not live the majority of the time? What financial contribution will each parent be making to the support of the children? And to whom and how will it be paid? As also the division of marital assets. What property of the parties are considered to be marital assets, and thus available for distribution between the parties? To what percentage of the marital assets are each of the parties entitled? Will the share be equal, or does the conduct of one party or the needs of another party decrease or increase the share to which one party is entitled? Will the share to which the party is entitled be paid to the party immediately, or be structured over a settlement? Alimony and support. Does one of the parties meet the criteria for entitlement to support or alimony from the other party? How long will this support or alimony be paid? All divorce litigation involves a degree of emotion, anger, relief, sense of entitlement, desire to protect oneself and or the children, desire for revenge. Divorces are seldom easy, and sometimes require discovery of assets which one party may attempt to hide, and serious negotiation. If you'd like to discuss this or other legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And if the camera looks over at M, she will be able to mouth the disclaimer because she's heard it so many times. The Supreme
You're
Court
on.
of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Very good, Em.
When
You sound just like Bob.
when I'm successful enough, I'm going to probably try to contract Em and see if she can sing the
Put it
disclaimer.
to song.
No.
All right, moving on to things on Coffee and from the You Can Knock Me Over with a Feather department. Ready?
Sure.
This is going to be different.
Headline on the front page of today's call: Dan General restores the police agreement in one of his first moves as mayor. Wow, didn't see that coming. Soon as they voted Lisa Baldelli Hunt out, Dan General in, I go, well, the first thing he's going to do is, I think, is put the police agreement into place, and he has done that, and it's going to be reflected in their paychecks tomorrow. So it's happening, lickety split.
I would imagine the police officers will be very pleased with that.
I would say they would. Did this surprise any of you two that Dan did this?
No, I mean, it's one of those things that we just kind of have to see what happens, with this next month, and then see what happens forthcoming.
Well, it was one of the elements, of course, of the actions that the city council brought against the mayor.
Yeah.
And consequently, I think that
The biggest one, most important one, I think.
I would think that it was surely to be expected. I would not have expected Mayor General to have done otherwise.
Right.
No.
All right. So, and like Bob said, there's a lot of happy Woonsocket police officers right now. They'll be even happier tomorrow
Well,
when
there's
the check
a lot
comes.
of happy retirees who just found out that Social Security is going to be having a cost of living increase.
Their biggest ever, or in the last 40 years. Is that right?
I wasn't around 40 years ago to collect it, so I can't remember from personal experience.
Well, not
but
personally, but I thought I read that it's their biggest percentage jump in 40 years.
hey, great.
So I heard up to 9%.
9%? Wow.
Yeah. Now it all depends on your situation of how much
Yeah, I
more
think
you
that
get.
gives me about $1.34 extra
More?
a month. Yeah. But,
No, it's
yeah,
probably still zero because you're not collecting yet, right?
I'm 75. I've started collecting.
Oh,
yes.
well, you don't have to, but actually you do, don't you? If it's one of those deals where if you don't start collecting, you lose it.
I
don't know if
don't
Social-
know.
how does
I
Social
just
Security
knew
works.
the prospect of having free money sent to me by Uncle Sam was a pretty alluring.
And it's 66 and a half, I believe you have to be now to start
To start collecting?
Yes.
Okay.
So they keep moving
Or
that
it's,
up on me.
or it's 65 and a half, because I know, like, my parents are 67, and
But I
they-
always get that letter once a year.
Oh, that's set. Yes.
That says, well, if you start,
all of us do.
yes, if you start
Yeah.
collecting at 62, you get this amount of money.
Exactly.
But if
you're
you wait
not going to
till you-
get your full.
If you wait to 65, oh, you get more. Oh, if you wait to 70, oh, you get even more.
I remember
it's a
when
real,
I- when
it's
I-
a real gamble.
When I got to be 62,
Yeah.
I went out to the Social Security Department and asked them, how much will I get? And they said, okay, if you retire now, you'll get, 5 cents a month.
That's right.
And if you wait to 65, and I took out the calculator, the woman behind the desk says, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, when does it balance out?
Yes.
She said, it looks like in your case it's going to balance out at age 78.
Ah.
So if you don't take it until you're 65, then you're short until you reach the age of 78, and at 78 it starts to equalize out.
Okay.
So I took that into consideration when I said, yeah, give me the money.
All right. Did you say you were 75?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The headline band Saturday night,
Yeah.
James Montgomery Blues Band, he is 75. So
Great.
I don't know why you're not up on stage playing the harmonica like he was.
There's a whole lot of reasons why I don't play the harmonica in public.
Or ever, right?
Ever, true. Although I got to tell you one side story. We went to, we went on a trip to Iceland a few months ago. In one of the little towns in Iceland, where things are not exactly as exciting as you might have in Woonsocket, they have an accordion museum.
Well, it's got to be somewhere. It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And it sounds ridiculous, but
Of why it
makes
would be in Iceland is kind of odd.
Well, no, actually, because they did a lot of fishing in the old days, and going out on a fishing boat overnight, you have some kind of entertainment. Taking an accordion with you, and the crew is, some kind of. But to say you have an accordion museum is not something that you usually anticipate any town is going to be really heavily
That big
publicized.
tourist attraction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But you would think Germany would have something like this, with the polkas and things like that.
Maybe they
or
do,
maybe
but
Poland.
I have no idea.
But, all right, they have their own.
In this little town in Iceland,
Yeah.
they got it.
And you went to it.
Absolutely, man.
That's the only thing to
You're
do.
not going to pass up an opportunity like this.
Did you get to play?
No.
No?
No,
Aw.
it's my musical experience is down to, can I handle a kazoo and not look like a
If you handle kazoo, you look foolish.
okay.
I'm just saying that, if you go to other museums, and I'm thinking specifically the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Mass.
Which I've been to.
I have too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can shoot basketballs there. They let you play. They let you play.
Wow.
They should be handing out accordions. Here, give it a shot. See if you're any good.
Yeah.
There was one exciting thing though. We went to, I think it was the British Museum. No, British Museum or the Albert Museum. I'm not sure which one. But you're actually able to handle a stone axe that has
Stone. Huh?
stone axe. It goes back like 4,000, 5,000 years. And when you're holding it, you realize that the people who created it back then had actually made it so that it fit in your hand. There's a notch in the top where your thumb fits in. It works.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is the oldest man-made object I have ever handled in my
Wow.
life. And it was great.
And it fit
Did
your
it
hand.
make you feel like a Viking?
Did you want to go, rape and pillage?
If you see my billing, you'll know that I do that a lot.
But
All right. That's right. Well, the Attorney General of Rhode Island, Peter Arona, said yesterday that nearly all police officers in the state will be wearing body cams very soon. Bob, have you seen any situations in terms of the law where body cams are not admissible in court or any kind of other litigation involving body cams?
I don't do criminal work anymore, so I can't tell you. Are not admissible. I think that to have it admissible, you're going to have a chain of evidence. You have to say, okay, have someone identify that this was an actual video that was taken at a particular time that has not been doctored in any way, that sort of thing. But I would imagine that if you can overcome that and establish the chain of custody on it and the truthfulness of the depiction, not having been altered or edited or things like that, that you could bring it in, yes.
Okay. And what's odd is, and I don't have any other explanation in the story that we have, is all of 39 towns are going to benefit from the body cams except Smithfield, and it's their decision not to do this. They don't want it, it seems. Now, why they don't want it, I don't know. Especially when when it's been given to you. Here, you don't have to purchase this. We've purchased it for you.
Right.
Just start using them. And they just no.
I have no idea. They may feel that they can be too easily altered and not be an accurate representation of what was taking place, or they may be a representation which is very visual to the jury and only show one side of a particular incident or conflict. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Just it just seems odd that they would say, no, we don't want to do this. No, we're all set. And I wonder if it's the police chief's decision or the town's decision. I don't know. Interesting. All right. What else is going on? New poll out. Rhode Island is the 11th happiest state in the country.
Wow!
Who'd have thunk it? And all 6 New England states are in the top 15.
Hot dog, that is great.
That is.
How about that? So
Who's number one?
no, we got to find it. Let's see. It does not say. I know I know I saw it yesterday. I think Massachusetts is 8th, 7th or 8th. I don't know who number 1 is.
We're
Although
happier than
I
Massachusetts.
do remember who's last, though.
Who's last?
You want to guess?
Alabama.
No, that's what I thought.
New York.
No, West Virginia.
Oh,
Now, you went to school in Virginia.
I went to school in Virginia.
Yeah. Now, how often did you get to West Virginia?
Very seldom. I used to
Okay.
I drove through part of it every time I went down to the school.
And they're not happy there?
West Virginia is it's a rugged state, and it has
Well, they
a lot
got
of
the
mountains.
Yeah.
And the economy is not terribly great.
Yeah.
A lot of it depended on mining, which was going out back in the 70s.
And that's why they're
yeah.
not happy, because that's
yeah.
what they got to do
Yeah.
to survive there.
So I can understand that, but I'm
But I can't
surprised
believe
it is.
Massachusetts beat us.
Yeah. It's got to do mostly with the school education, higher education, and the availability of very good medical care, especially in Boston.
Well,
People-
we're only
people-
40 miles
Yes,
from
but people.
Boston. And
True,
that's,
but people come from all over the world to be treated in Boston.
That is true. That is
Not
true.
they don't say, "Hey, let's go to Rhode Island for whatever they got." They said, "No, it's New York and Boston usually, some other places as well."
I don't know.
Sorry about that.
If I were going from out of state to medical care, I think I'd fly into Warwick and then drive up to Boston, so I miss the Boston traffic from the airport, and I'd probably be a lot happier that way.
Well, if you get into an ambulance at Logan Airport, you'll be in the hospital in no time.
That's true.
Have you ever had to tell people how to get to Rhode Island after they land at Logan Airport?
Yes.
Oh,
To get to Rhode Island?
well, yeah, for some reason, it's just whatever it is. It's cheaper to fly to Logan than it is to fly into Greene for whatever reason at the time. I said, okay, well, this is how you do. This is how you get out of there, and you got to join the tunnel. I think it's the Sumner Tunnel. 8 lanes into 2. What a blast! And just if you don't follow the right signs for south, next thing you know, you're in Worcester because you've taken the
Exactly.
wrong road.
Yep. You've taken Mass Pike.
That's right. And now you're paying money and going in the wrong direction.
going the wrong direction.
How many people do you have to tell this to? Don't they have a GPS?
Well, this is the old days.
Yeah.
Old days, okay.
Back when there weren't any, and you had to,
You opened up the SO map. and-
During
look at the
during
map, yeah.
during the big dig
yes.
that went on for over 20 years.
And I've always said the worst favor someone can ask you is, can you pick me up at Logan Airport? Dropping you off is not too bad.
Yeah.
No, but it's
But it's picking someone up at Logan Airport is the worst, because you got to find what terminal they're supposed to be at, and what airline, and then what gate, and that you're constantly dealing with buses and taxis, and now Ubers and Lyft drivers who they know what they're doing.
exactly.
And
And
you-
you can't stay idle there
Oh,
if you're
no,
not
'cause there's
a
cops.
Uber or yes.
You gotta keep
so you have
circling.
to keep on circling around.
And you don't even know if you're circling in the right area.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, friends of ours had hired a limo service to pick them up at Logan. And I get a call from the wife, and she says, I can't find the guy. Where is he? Where is he? So I called up the limo service, and the guy says, I'm right here.
Right here.
I can't find her. So I said, well, get out of the car and wave your hand in the air and tell her, and I'll tell her to look in your direction. And sure enough, she
They're
found
right next to each other.
they're about 200 feet down the tarmac or whatever it is. I'm like,
Oh, that's funny.
okay.
All right, I know Bob's got to get going, so we're going to have Bob do his last message here, and then he's got to scoot on out because he's got to get to court. So time for a second message. Bob, from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. A few minutes ago, I discussed with you some of the issues which should be resolved in any divorce negotiations and or litigation. When people learn of divorces of famous celebrities, there are frequently references to premarital agreements and the protections which such an agreement may provide to one of the parties to the marriage. A premarital agreement is a legal document negotiated between the parties before the marriage and signed by both parties before the marriage. And to buttress the legality of the document, each party should be represented by a separate attorney. In Rhode Island, the terms of a premarital agreement frequently provide for the exclusion of certain assets of one of the parties from being included in the marital assets available for equitable distribution in the event of divorce, and also to provide for the distribution of assets of the party who is the first to die. I'm not suggesting that premarital agreements are useful for everyone. In fact, in most marriages, where the parties are of relatively equal age and have relatively equal assets, a premarital agreement may not provide any significant benefit whatsoever. In my experience, premarital agreements usually arise when one of the parties has significantly more assets than the other, or when it is a second or third marriage for one of the parties, and that individual desires to make sure that in the event of death, the assets of the deceased individual will pass to someone other than the surviving widow or widower. If you'd like to discuss this or other legal matters with me, please contact my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob, and we will see you next Thursday.
Thank you.
Right here.
And if anybody wants layman terms, prenup.
That's a prenuptial agreement.
That's right.
All right, time for the weather forecast here on ON Radio, being brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Light rain is likely today, mostly cloudy skies, high of 68, winds from the south up to 30 miles per hour, and a 60% chance of a tenth of an inch of rain. Tonight, rain and possibly a thunderstorm, 100% chance, patchy fog, low of 60, southeast winds gusting to 36 miles per hour, and up to a quarter of an inch of rain is now expected. Friday, rain and possibly a thunderstorm, slowly tapering off till about 3 a.m. on Saturday. High of 70 degrees on Friday, with south winds up to 20 miles per hour. Saturday's weather sunny with a high of 69. Sunday, sunshine and 68. Monday, rain is likely again, mostly cloudy and 62 degrees. Tuesday, another chance of rain, partly sunny and a high of 55. And on Wednesday, sunshine and 52.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street with partly cloudy skies. We have 63 degrees. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Information at positivecoach.org.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hey, this is Chuck Matthews on Greatest Hits USA. And coming up this weekend, we're going to answer the following questions. Who never picked up his money on a bet? What drummer set a new world record? And who had the #1 record this week in 1965? Find out. Turn it up this weekend right here.
Greatest Hits USA.
It's Coffee In here on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan. Bob Lauder had to go. M from the Call is here, and Dave Richards has joined us. Hello there, Dave.
Oh, good.
So we have an update.
I was somewhere.
Had an update on a story, a thing we talked about on Coffee In yesterday. And I don't know if you heard about this this female teenage referee, ice hockey referee down in Warwick, was refereeing a game between Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, and she was getting heckled so bad by the parents, not the coach, not the team, by the parents from Pennsylvania. She was in tears and left the ice.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was, and I found out she is 16. And the girls playing are all 9 and 10. I mean, so there's really young. These are really young kids,
Yeah.
but the parents are they're out of control. And the good news is, she's not quitting refereeing.
Good for her.
She is coming back, and she'll be refereeing again this weekend. She's not going to be doing tournaments. It's these teams from out of state killing her. She's just going to do
Yeah.
the local Warwick,
Yeah.
whoever else plays down at Thayer Arena.
But yeah,
And
I mean
and just do
that's one thing about how things have changed so much in sports, and how parents have become almost crazed at times
Yeah.
when it comes to their kids and how they play, whether it's against the opposing team, the coaches, the referees. I mean, it's gone to a whole nother level, and it's not a good level. And that's just, she's just a kid.
Right.
At the end of the day, she's just a kid.
I thought when she left the ice, because she couldn't take it anymore, I thought that was it. The game was over. Game ends right here. No, there were actually 2 referees. Not sure what the gender or the age of the other referee was, but she just went over with the puck, gave it to the other one, and said, I can't do it anymore, and she left the ice. So the game continued with the one referee. So.
And the thing that is funny to me is that, whether it's because she was a girl or because of her age or what have you, in hockey, do they realize that, the women's USA hockey team has been very successful. And, there's a lot more in different states that high schools are having either co-ed hockey teams or all-female hockey teams. I mean, it's,
No, I think you're right. I think the parents realized, hey, this is just a kid, and it's a female. We can intimidate her.
and that's so unfair. I
sure
mean,
it is.
it's, there's women, and this kind of goes back, centuries, with different sports. Excuse
Bless you.
me.
Bless you.
Excuse me, but
You were saying.
I was saying, being a female athlete, and perfect example. I was the only girl in Little League for 3 years back in the 80s. And I'll never forget, there was one game I, got up, to bat, and even the players, obviously, of the opposing team and some of the parents, oh, it's a girl,
It's a girl,
easy out,
yeah.
easy out. Well, by I think the 3rd or 4th pitch, because, there was a ball, there was a strike, I hit the ball so hard it actually hit the pitcher in the chest and knocked him out.
Wow.
So, we can play any sport that a man, can play. And, it's just no matter how old you are, no matter what there's rugby is a very, contact sport. Football is a contact sport. And, there's women getting into even college level playing those all
Male.
male, all boy, type of sports. So, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Dave, any thoughts on the whole referee situation down there in Warwick?
Well, it's a shame that she was overwhelmed by emotion. It could happen to anybody, male or female, be overwhelmed by emotions when you're being picked on like that. And so it's a decision that she may regret later in life. But we all make decisions we may regret later in life, and that is what it is. What I would want to see is the league that was in
Whoever ran the
There's
tournament.
some organizing league
Yeah.
that put that together. That the governance body of that league has to install a forfeit policy for fan misconduct. It happens in many other leagues.
Sure. That's a great
Fan
idea.
misconduct, and your
Your
home
team
team
loses.
loses the game. And so
Have
if
a nice
that
ride
league
back to
doesn't-
Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah.
If that league doesn't have that, they
it
gotta
in.
have it because it's needed.
Yeah.
If I was forming a league, I wouldn't put it in, but if I saw this happening, it would be the next thing I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And I completely agree. I mean, that's,
Right. Fan misconduct, bang.
Dang, you're
Just like
done.
that.
yeah.
You're right, Em, about the players and girls playing more. I don't know if the story made it down here to Rhode Island, but Brockton, Massachusetts, always has a great football team. They just do. The first girl to score a touchdown happened last weekend.
Cool.
In their history.
Yeah.
I'm like, good for her.
Cool.
All right.
That's awesome.
So there's a poll going on.
Oh, Burrillville has I think it's Burrillville. Last year when I was there helping Brendan broadcast the game, they had a place kicker.
Yeah.
It was is female, and she did a credit to her abilities. Helped the team win, and it was nicely done. There's no you see, it goes back to this, boys and girls. The way I was brought up. Remember, my father's mother, when she died, she was a mate on a fishing boat out of Galilee. I never got the different gender roles. I got your ability role.
Exactly.
If you can do this, then you should do that. If you can't do that, don't try it. And the management of any task is responsible for putting the right person, the right worker into the right job where their strengths will be maximized and their weaknesses will be minimized. And if it doesn't happen that way, shame on the management. Now, gee whiz, you're getting me going here. My mother's birthday yesterday, I was talking to her, and boy, she was a flaming women's liberationist back in the 60s. She taught me some lessons. But in my own family, it was like that. Mm-hmm. My father's mother was the breadwinner. She had the skills. She learned them during World War II as a Rosie the Riveter, and she was a master carpenter. And when she retired, she still did male roles. But she sold it, and the other people respected her ability because she was placed in the right place to do the right job. So the female and male thing is for, I was taught, please don't anybody be offended, I was taught female, male is wrong-minded and the sign of a weak mind, where you're just going to not even consider the facts and go back to a stereotype that may or may not be right.
Your family was just way ahead of its time, Dave. A lot of people didn't think
we
like
lived
that. Yeah.
I lived that growing up. So that's how I didn't even understand sexual discrimination until I got in the broadcasting business. Some people were a little weak-minded.
We have to take a break here in the Coffee and program. More coming up. Stay tuned.
John Chan of Chan's Fine Oriental Dining in Woonsocket wants to thank you all for once again voting them Best Chinese Restaurant and Best Entertainment in the Woonsocket Call Reader's Choice Survey. Chan's is open every day at 3 p.m. for dine-in, takeout, entertainment, and, of course, you can enjoy their Horseshoe Bar Lounge and karaoke Friday nights from 8 to 11. Call Chan's today for takeout or reservations, 765-1900. Chan's is open at 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. Fall is here, and now is the perfect time to visit Mystic Aquarium, with a variety of ways to save, including free admission for veterans, police officers, firefighters, and EMTs of Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. It's easier than ever to get up close with over 300 species of animal ambassadors, including sharks, seals, African penguins, and the largest outdoor beluga habitat in the country. Want to visit all year while enjoying exclusive member perks and events? Become a member and support Mystic Aquarium's effort to protect our ocean planet, including rescuing stranded animals right here on our Rhode Island shores. Visit mysticaquarium.org to learn more about how you can support, visit, and save Mystic Aquarium.
Hi, everybody. This is State Representative Steve Casey. I deeply appreciate your past support, and I'm humbled to be unopposed in the general election on November 8th. While I continue to walk door to door throughout District 50 to discuss issues with you, I'm also encouraging you to support my good friend Brian Thompson, who's running for Woonsocket City Council. Brian and his wife Christine have lived in Woonsocket for 17 years. They have 6 children, all who have attended Woonsocket schools. I believe Brian Thompson is just the right person that we need on the Woonsocket City Council. Paid for by Friends of Steve Casey.
The Woonsocket Board of Canvassers would like to remind voters that November 8th is Election Day. The voters of Woonsocket will be voting on races from U.S. Congress to school committee with 3 state referenda questions. In addition, there will be 2 local referenda questions on the ballot. Question 4, an amendment to the Woonsocket Home Rule Charter, regards the appointment of the city solicitor and reads, shall the City of Woonsocket Home Rule Charter, Chapter 10, entitled Administrative Departments, Article 1, entitled Law Department, Section 1, entitled Created Appointment Qualifications of Head, be amended to change the authorization for appointment of the city solicitor from the appointment by the mayor to appointment by the city council. You may approve or reject that question. Question 5 is entitled Relating to Cannabis Establishments and Public Use. And the question reads, shall new cannabis-related licenses for businesses involved in the cultivation, manufacture, laboratory testing, and for the retail sale of adult recreational use cannabis be issued in the city of Woonsocket? You may approve or reject that question. Knowing your options from home, early in person, or election day, please vote. If you'd like more information on the election, you can visit the website of the Woonsocket Board of Canvassers at www.woonsocketri.org or call the office at 401-767-9223.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Joe Callahan, Dave Richards, M from The Call is here as well. Now, we had the poll that the Rhode Island is the 11th happiest state. But the other poll is Dan McKee. He's not so happy because he's in another poll, and he is 47th out of 50
Right.
Of happy governors. Well, not happy governors, but of most unpopular governors. And he is right
Well, there are 2
there
different polls we should explain
well,
to the
there's-
audience.
that run the poll, obviously, yes.
And polls are just,
Yeah.
well,
His approval rating, is actually not bad. His approval rating is 47%. I've
Yeah.
seen much lower.
the
for
president
other
of the
people.
United
Like the
States has
president.
much lower than that.
Charlie Baker, he's much higher. He's at 74. He's always been hovering in that 75.
And the interesting thing
percent
about Charlie
r-
Baker is that he
range.
can only get more popular because he's not going to make any big decisions anymore. Except he just made a pardon for 4 people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
He can
but
do that, huh?
it was noted in the news. There was no commentary about it. It's what governors do as they near the end of a term. Mm-hmm. He said everything's been vetted, and I'm recommending this, and someone else is going to actually finalize it, not me.
Okay.
So, I mean, Charlie Baker's a special guy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'll tell you something else from experience. It has to do with the times that you are in office as well. You could be, Francis Langto was a city councilor for a long time. He was an insurance agent for, I believe, John Hancock Insurance. And he was on the council, and it was always like 6-1 Langto disapproves, 6-1 Langto disapproves, and stuff like that. Eventually, he ran for mayor, and he was elected mayor.
He won. Mm-hmm.
Because the times were just fine. All right, right after he's inaugurated, RISDIC happens. They shut down all the banks and credit unions. Now here's a guy that worked very hard, like Bruce Sunderland did, finally get into office. And you don't have a good ride. Nothing you do is going to be right. Nobody's going to be happy. Any decision you make is going to divide the house like it usually would. But now you're starting off at such a low ebb, you got everybody hating you. So sometimes it has to do with that, I think.
It does. It's
Dan
you
took
know
over
circumstances.
Dan took over after the pandemic was starting to wane, and Gina made some unpopular decisions that he's stuck with. Now, I personally think that he didn't do himself any good announcing that they'll appeal it, but there's a time clock on the appeal, and there are a lot of people saying he's got to appeal it. So it's a
he
tough
wants to.
decision, but it comes to his office, and he made a decision, which I don't think is going to help him in the election, but he made a decision. And so now there you go. And I got to figure that he knows something I don't.
Em, do you think it'll help him in the polls? The saying
No,
I'm
Em's
going
over
to
here.
appeal. You're right. You're not in the empty chair. There you are.
I'm not in the empty chair.
You're not a ghost yet. Is it going to help him or hurt him saying he's going to appeal the truck toll situation?
You know, it's.
Well, do you agree he just gave Ashley Careless a loaded gun,
I don't.
his
Agree.
opponent?
Yeah, I don't.
A loaded gun pointing right at him.
Yeah. No, I mean it
Gave her a
it
lot
def-
of ammunition, too.
A lot of ammunition,
Right.
and it's going. I mean, the media, propaganda, not so much radio, but just the television commercials. I mean, there's always that, especially closer to elections, the gloves come off, and they really get.
The half-truths are reduced
dirty.
to quarter-truths.
Yeah, it gets dirty, but at the end of the day, it's the facts. So a lot of people see different things on the television, read different things in the newspaper, hear different things on the radio, and they need to research. And if you're passionate about something that isn't happening or is happening and needs to be changed or it needs to be continued, do the research and really look at both sides of the coin, and come November 8th, then make your decision. There's always people that are just gonna vote one party to another party, or it was the way that you were brought up. You were brought up Republican, you were brought up Democrat, but it's all about what you want for yourself and your family. Whether it's an issue that's going to be on the ballot or it's going to be a candidate that's going to be on the ballot.
All right. The good news is, ready for the good news?
I'm ready for the good news.
A California professor is rewarding acts of kindness. He started a project to recognize one person every month and give them $1,000. Alan Ross from the UC Berkeley Haas School of Business plans to use his own money, saying it's a way he can give back. Candidates can be nominated if they live, work, or go to school in the city of Berkeley, California. The public will then help vote for a winner, and the first recipient will be named next month. So if you see a Boy Scout helping a lady across the street, there's an act of kindness. He can get in and possibly win $1,000. That's nice.
It is nice. But there should just be acts of kindness
time.
without getting rewarded.
She's over
for
here.
it.
She's over here, Joe.
You're right. I keep
You
hitting
know,
the right button.
I'm a
Will we
ghost.
move into that chair?
No.
I'm a ghost.
You want me to move over?
But it's one of those things. I mean, acts of kindness are acts of kindness. It's not because this story is out now. So and I'm not trying to be a cynic, because I do believe in, if people want to do something good, they're going to do it no matter what.
Okay.
I try to live by that. I was taught that. But, I just hope that people aren't going to do it because they're going to get paid.
Okay.
That's my only
Your take on it.
my only concern.
All right.
with-
Well, if
with
you happen
that.
to be in San Antonio, Texas, between now and Halloween, you can go to Super Suds Car Wash, because they have the haunted car wash.
Oh, that's cool.
It is pretty clever.
That is cool.
It's going to run weekends through the end of October. It's $30 now, and you get the triple foam wash, tire shine, undercarriage wash, Caranuba wax, Carnauba. Carnauba? I don't
Yeah,
know.
Carnauba, I think.
Okay. And a,
Carnauba wax.
and a ceramic shine. But you get the scary pop-ups. You get the eerie music on your radio as you drive through the car wash.
But car washes, it doesn't take very long.
Uh,
It's not like going through like
4
a
minutes?
haunted house
Oh,
or
no,
anything
no, no.
like that.
You got to get right to the spooky stuff right away.
I can see the sign as
Yeah.
you enter. It says, "It's only a car wash. It's only a car wash. It's only a car wash."
But then there's places now, Executive Car Wash here in Woonsocket.
Yeah.
You stay in the car.
Yeah.
But I know other car washes,
You get out.
you have to get out.
Yeah, you get out. Yeah.
And I don't know what's the reason, even though the car.
So they can vacuum the inside.
yeah.
but it's going through the car wash part.
But they do all that
Yes.
before it actually hits the brushes.
Yes.
All right.
And
I'll
then
have
they
to check, 'cause I
and
don't
then they
remember them vacuuming.
actually
And when it comes
well
out, they wipe it down.
yeah, they wipe it down,
Yes,
or
they do that
they might
afterwards.
actually, in that moment, do the vacuuming
Yeah.
after.
Okay. Just got to pick the right car wash, I guess.
Exactly.
All right, we got to run. The show has come to an end. We thank you for listening. We thank Bob Lauder for coming in today.
Thanks,
and
Bob.
Bob will
Thanks,
be in next
Bob.
week. And Em, thanks for coming in this week.
Thank you for having me. I hope everybody has a great week. Make sure to check out the Call in the Times and on.
And see
The
Joe
web.
Callahan's picture today.
And I'm,
Yes.
And I'm smiling in the picture. How about that?
Yeah, what
Yes,
do
so
you know?
check out our websites and pick up a call.
Very good. And Dave, thanks for coming in and helping out.
Yeah, lots of fun. Lots
All
of
right.
fun.
This is Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Do You Remember with Gary Smith and the crew coming up at 9:30.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. The Rhode Island School of Design is returning stolen items to Nigeria. The bronze objects were taken by the British when